have an important role to play in stopping the spread of COVID-19. We encourage you to take the necessary precautions to protect yourselves and families by always wearing a face mask, practicing social distancing, and washing or sanitizing your hands frequently. Welcome to InfoHub for Tuesday, September 1. Thank you for joining us as we highlight the work of the PPPC administration aimed at improving the quality of life of all Guyanese. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to have major economic implications on Guyanese, the government of Guyana has responded with a financial relief package to assist affected households across the country.
On Monday, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, met virtually with the Private Sector Commission during the opening of the Commission's 28th Annual General Meeting. During the meeting, President Ali announced that the government is looking to commence a new COVID-19 measure.
Before the end of this week, I'm going to announce some additional measures in relation to COVID. I've already instructed to have resources sent to the health sector, education sector, and we're working on a household intervention of about $25,000 per household.
President Ali further expressed gratitude to the U.S. Ambassador and the British High Commissioner and other members of the diplomatic community who played a role in Guyana's COVID-19 response plan. The announcement comes less than 2 weeks after the president said that the government is mobilizing US $60 million from international organizations in addition to a $4.5 billion COVID-19 response package. More details surrounding the nature of the relief distribution are expected to be announced soon. Further, President Ali also pledged continued support to the Private Sector Commission, which he praised for assisting in the restoration of democracy in Guyana.
The role of the private sector, the role the private sector played in ensuring that we are here today in a democratic environment is enough to convince anyone that the private sector is not only an important stakeholder, but one of the strongest stakeholders in advancing Guyana's prospect and developmental opportunity. My government will facilitate a more robust private sector that brings new investments, expand production, increase exports, improve competitiveness, and stimulate innovation.
For InfoHub, Akisha Budi.
Let's tell you now that former Member of Parliament and Minister of Labour Mansour Nadir was today elected Speaker of the National Assembly, while former Tushau and leader of the Liberty and Justice Party, Lennox Truman, was elected Deputy Speaker.
The new Speaker of the House committed to working towards lifting the standard in the way things are done in the Parliament.
I would like to see us all raise that bar a bit so that we can show the next generation, the generation that actually came after me, show them that we can live up to international best standards where democracy, respect for humanity and decency.
The Speaker made it clear that there will be no favoritism shown to any side of the National Assembly.
We have to give every single person, regardless of what has gone behind us, we have to give them the respect they deserve as a member of Parliament, and more particularly as a citizen of this country. When you sit in the Speaker chair, you have to exercise the highest level of tolerance, fairness, impartiality, decency, and I think I have that with me.
Leader of the Liberty and Justice Party, Mr. Schumann, is the first person of indigenous heritage to be elected as Deputy Speaker. He said that it will be an honor and a privilege to serve in a capacity, adding that it represents a growth for the indigenous people of Guyana.
We should look at the sky as the limit. There should be no limit. I think historically we've seen ourselves as, potentially ministers, community leaders. I'm very happy to say that Her Excellency Caroline Rodriguez Burkett is now our permanent rep at the United Nations, and that is a massive growth for Indigenous peoples. Now we have an Indigenous Deputy Speaker of the House. I'm hopeful that in the next maybe 15, 20 years, however, what the evolutionary process is, that we are going to see an Indigenous Speaker of the House, we are going to see an Indigenous Prime Minister, and one day see an indigenous president.
Mr. Schuman assured that he will execute his functions in the interest of all, with special focus on hinterland development. Isaiah Broffett for InfoHub.
Meanwhile, 33 members from the ruling People's Progressive Party Civic, 31 from the opposition APNU plus AFC coalition, and 1 from the joiner parties, Liberty and Justice Party, and New and United Guyana and the New Movement Guyana were today sworn in as members of parliament.
The majority of the parliamentarians were sworn in at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, while the others did so virtually. The government side of the House comprises a balance of skills, youth, gender, and ethnicity. Among them are 4 attorneys at law, 6 medical doctors, administrators, teachers, labor movement activists, media practitioners, religious leaders, and entrepreneurs. Among the newcomers are Prime Minister Honorable Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water Honorable Susan Rodrigues, Public Affairs Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister Honorable Kwame McCoy, Attorney at Law Sanjeev Dattadin, Veteran Trade Unionist Sipal Narain, Dr. Tandika Smith, and Lee Williams. Some of the seasoned parliamentarians are Vice President Honorable Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Honorable Mahabir Anil Nandlal, Human Services and Social Security Minister Honorable Dr. Vindhya Prasad, and Ministers of Education and Health Honorable Priya Manichand and Honorable Dr. Frank Anthony, respectively.
For us, I know you're about to go into the chamber. What can we expect from government heading into the start of this 12th Parliament?
Well, first of all, it would be an aggressive agenda. As you know, we're working on a shortened timetable this year, and we have had a short period in which to prepare the budget. So I was just explaining to the other reporters that as soon as the constitutional agency's budget is passed, we expect that to be done on Thursday, that we'll incorporate those submissions into the estimates, and then the following week table the main budget. In that budget, you're going to see a lot of our manifesto promises fulfilled, although it's an emergency budget, because right now we need to have a stimulus package ready for the private sector to resume economic activities, and a lot of people need help. And so we're working aggressively to get that. You know, day and night people are working because it's a shortened timetable, but I urge people to be a bit patient. We'll get the budget out soon.
Vice President Honorable Dr. Bharat Jagdeo. The government side has great representation of the indigenous people.
There are many sectors that need to be improved. It might be education, health, agriculture, youth, and other sectors. But as we are in the pandemic this time of the year, my main focus is to improve information technology in every Amerindian villages in my region, because that was the backdrop for the school children. They have no access to internet, and they're being home. As I mentioned earlier, it's not a home school. Because of no access, they're just home doing nothing.
In every aspect in this 12th Parliament, I will represent the indigenous peoples particular. That's my main focus. Not that I will not be represent all Guyanese, but particularly indigenous peoples. I will have the opportunity to see those legislation which is referring to Amerindian people, particularly the Amerindian Act that should be revising or reviewing very soon. I will also look at other legislation, how it will affect the indigenous peoples. I will have the opportunity to examine policies and programs that education, infrastructure, health, and I would want to say where it is lacking. My job is to bring it to the attention of the other legislators.
I plan to represent my region in many ways, bringing to fore especially the Amerindian land issues. It must be dealt with first and foremost. We must look at the Amerindian Act. I plan to bring to the table and represent my people in the sectors of education, health services, agriculture development, and infrastructure development.
With his return to the 12th Parliament, MP Faisal Jafrali said his priority focus is to work and boost the agriculture sector in his region. He hails from Mahaika Berbice.
As you're aware, Region 5 is predominantly an agricultural-based region. Rice, sugar, livestock. And that will be my priority, to ensure that the agriculture sector in Region 5 is being upgraded. Presently, all the drainage and irrigation infrastructure across Region 5, particularly in the rice cultivation area, has collapsed, has deteriorated. Farmers are facing a serious problem.
The COVID-19 pandemic has prevented the sitting of the National Assembly at the Parliament buildings. Strict measures have been implemented to ensure that the health protocols are observed during the sittings. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
More news after this short break. Stay with us.
Attention! We all have an important role to play in helping to stop the spread of COVID-19. There are simple but very important things you must do to help stop its spread. Ensure you wear a mask that covers your nose and mouth when you are in public. Ensure you observe proper hygiene by washing your hands with soap and water or using sanitizer at regular intervals. Observe social distancing by maintaining a distance of 6 feet from each other while in public. Ensure you sanitize your surroundings frequently to keep air and surfaces clean. In doing so, you are not only protecting yourself but others. COVID-19 is spread by humans and can be stopped by the simple actions we take. Let's each do our part, you, me, and everyone else. Together, we can stop its spread.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Honorable Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips says the PPPC government is gearing for the long haul amid the COVID-19 pandemic and is seeking to implement relief measures for vulnerable households.
The reality from all the reports we have is that COVID-19 will be with us during the remaining 2020 and well into 2021. Hence today's workshop, which is a structured approach to brainstorm to allow the relevant stakeholders to be better informed to conduct one's operation more effectively and efficiently. This was disclosed on Tuesday during the opening ceremony of a 2-day virtual Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities and Threats Squads Analysis Workshop on the COVID-19 Public Assistance Program, Phase 2. Prime Minister Phillips urged the participants to highlight their strengths and weaknesses with the aim of collectively providing the necessary support to the citizens. Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, CDC, Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, said that this approach is to simply strengthen the current program's objectives. During the implementation of the first phase of the program, several challenges were identified, including insufficient suppliers, slow procurement process, limited public relation and communication, inadequate monitoring and evaluation, and the inability of the most vulnerable accessing the program. He added that this workshop also aims to improve understanding of roles and responsibilities among implementing partners and key stakeholders. Since its beginning, the COVID-19 PA program has seen 1,754 households shortlisted for vouchers in coastal communities and township, and 5,101 hinterland households shortlisted for direct food hampers in the first phase of implementation. Thus far, 1,645 vouchers have been redeemed by beneficiaries, while 2,315 care packages have been distributed to hinterland communities in Regions 1, 8, and 9. As of August 17, 2020, 22,596 new applications have been recorded via the virtual application system, which targets food voucher beneficiaries, while the Tier 2 or second line priority hinterland communities are yet to be agreed upon. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
The curtains came down on Mining Week 2020 with an award ceremony to commemorate the contributions of miners in the sector.
The ceremony was hosted by Guyana Geology and Mines Commission (GGMC) and the Ministry of Natural Resources at the Pegasus Hotel. In attendance was Minister of Natural Resources Honorable Vikram Bharat, who reminded that while Guyana is a budding oil-producing nation, the mining and other traditional sectors have sustained our economy over the years.
The hype in Guyana really is about oil and gas, and even though we are an oil-producing nation presently, it is mining, along with the other productive sectors, traditional productive sectors, that has kept Guyana going over the number of years. Mining presently contributes largely to the GDP of our country. That is why the government of Guyana will continue to support the mining sector as we move forward.
Meanwhile, GGMC Commissioner Noel Dennison said that going forward, the Commission hopes to furbish more opportunities for the young and the vulnerable.
We want to continue to find ways in which we can give assistance to the youth, and in some way, particularly those youth who are part of the mining family. And we would also like to reach out to those vulnerable, those who are vulnerable in the mining community.
The awards were presented in 3 categories: Top Gold Producers, Top Diamond Producer, and Environmental Stewardship. Kevin Jeffrey of GGDMA and newcomer SAB Mining walked away with the awards in the Top Gold Producers category for small and medium-scale mining. Chunilal Babulal was awarded the Top Diamond Producer for the 2nd consecutive year. Environmental Stewardship Awards were rewarded to Guyana Industrial Minerals Inc. for bauxite, Barakara for quarry, Ramlakan Sinot for sand, and Kopoi Reservation for loam. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year Mining Week was held virtually from August 22 to 29 and featured a review of previous activities. Conference material and technical information on moving forward in the sector were also shared. It was held under the theme Reflecting on the Past, Innovating for the Future, a journey through the archives of Mining Week. For InfoHub, Akishi Budi.
Amerindian Heritage Month begins today. This year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the events will be hosted virtually under the theme Fostering Traditional Practices for a Safe Environment. From all of us here at the DPI, we extend Heritage Month greetings to all our Amerindian brothers and sisters. Remember to do your part to ensure you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, and difficulty breathing, seek medical care early, but call the hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and visit our website, dpi.gov.gy, as we bring you the latest and important news on what the government is doing to ensure the continued development of our country. Your bridge reports are up next. Goodbye.